Welcome to the Hellmouth. Hope everybody's 5x5. This is Major Slayage, Ket Arik, Rewatch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. My name is Eric, and to my right, your left, my yummy, yappy, young at heart wife and co-host. You know her as half the powerhouse duo that is Kim and Ket. Stay alive, baby. Give it up. Yes, indeedy. Yabba dabba doo. Ketryn Porter.
Yabba dabba doo. Indeed.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of Y words. But then I hit Z, and then I'm free after next episode to just say whatever I want.
There you go. Oh, wait, you're not starting. No, because we didn't start doing this.
No, we did. I've done the whole alphabet.
You've done the whole alphabet?
Well, I didn't do them all in order at the very beginning, but yeah, I had a list and I was checking it twice, just like old Saint Nick.
Okay. All right.
Actually, I think after next episode, you should do the intro and you should do the whole alphabet come in this direction.
I'll think about it.
No, actually, don't do that because I've used all the good words already. Now we'd just be repeating ourselves.
Asshole, asinine, arbitrary. That was good.
Hello. We are here not for that nonsense, but to talk about Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 3, Episode 3, Faith, Hope, and Trick.
Hate this title. I already know.
Yeah, did not.
Whenever we do Trivia Crypt around the world for titles, I already know that this one is losing.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I haven't even thought about what the options are going to be here. We're actually recording a few weeks ahead. We're doubling up right now so that we can take a few weeks off recording, but still hit our release schedule throughout the holidays. So we are on episode 3 as we record, but Becoming Part 2 just came out. So we are.
That's right.
Yeah. So we're a little bit ahead of the game. So it's going to get very confusing thinking about what you have seen us talk about versus what we know we've already talked about. But we'll do our best to keep it straight.
Yeah.
Other than the title, what did you think of this one?
It's pretty good. I mean, I think it's a pretty good introduction to a new character.
Yeah.
Good. It's good.
Yeah. I feel like the show is very much in good hands. I feel like I'm in capable storytelling hands at this point. There are very few like clunky bad lines. There's an asterisk there. There's one character who gets fed a lot of really cringy lines.
Yeah.
Dialogue is mostly strong. The plotting is good. Things move briskly. The fights are incredible. Buffy looks amazing.
Yeah.
High marks. I feel like the show has sort of achieved its final form at this point. I feel like we're no longer figuring things out.
Yeah, I'm letting viewers know right now that I love the character of Faith. I get the character of Faith. I think Eliza Dushku is perfectly cast as the character of Faith. I want to just warn everybody that I am going to have some issues with Eliza Dushku's acting choices sometimes. And I will preface it by saying, I believe you're right. I think we said this during the watch along. She is very young. She's 17.
I think she's 17, yeah.
And she definitely doesn't have as much acting experience as Sarah Michelle Gellar. Just knowing that SMG was on, soap operas and all of that stuff. I'm not saying she's inexperienced. I'm saying that like when I have coached young actors that are the age that Eliza Dushku is in this, she's got a lot of like stuff that you grow out of, but it's very much so I'm just letting everyone know that this is how it's going to be as we encounter Eliza Dushku.
Wait, strong opinions on Major Slayage. That doesn't ring true.
Well, I just know she's like such like a fan favorite, and I'm not like opposed to that.
Right.
I
think she gets by
mitigating the hate that I'm going to get.
I think she gets by in a lot of charisma and a lot of attitude.
Yes.
And that sometimes makes up for like a deep dive into the craft.
Yes. And also
especially in these early episodes.
She's also given lines where the writers went, let's write some attitude.
Yeah,
and
this is
now,
their riot girl.
Yeah. And so now her lines are also like difficult to do. Like some of the monologues she has to do in this episode, I'm just like, oh my God, those are impossible. Like Meryl Streep would struggle with. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's just kind of like.
There's a degree of difficulty to even attempt this maneuver. And we got an inexperienced gymnast up on the balance beam trying to make it happen.
So everyone calm down. It'll be okay.
I do think, though, that there is something interesting about her being so sort of green.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah Michelle Gellar has settled into this role at this point.
Yep.
And, you know, it has found her rhythm, has really found this character the character is very lived in. She's very much like at home in this. And so that dynamic, I think, feeds their roles as Slayers.
I agree.
So I feel like we're sort of getting away with a few things that are unavoidable, and we try to make them work. We lean into them for the storytelling.
I agree.
Did you bring a spell for us today?
I did. Well, I sort of did it a little bit differently. It's very chilly right now.
Oh my
and
God, so
also my poor little honey is just turning into an icicle. I'm quite comfortable. If I put a sweater, a blanket on, I'm quite cozy. I'm like a little bear hibernating in a cave. I'm into it. But Arik is turning into one of the bodies on Mount Everest.
Well, I think there's a couple things at play here. One is I've lost a significant amount of weight since the spring, and so I'm missing a layer of blubber that used to keep me warm.
Correct.
And I think one of the side effects of the medicine I'm on is my fingers and toes are always cold, like even in the summer. So right now it's just like, woo. And I was like, hey, can we bring a space heater out to the set? And she's like, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. No,
so
we can't do that.
I'm just going to be doing layers, and we're going to make it work.
Exactly. So the spell that I brought, it's soup season. It's warm, cozy stew season. And one of the things that I want to remind all of my baby witches out there is that everything is a spell. Everything can be magic if you wish it to be. And a lot of the, witchcraft or spells that the witches of yore were doing, first of all, they weren't even necessarily witches. They were just healing women who understood how herbs worked and things like that. I brought this little cheat sheet that I made when I first started my journey that is common kitchen herbs and what they mean magically. Off the top of your head, you just get to choose 3 herbs that you might like to have in a stew or soup or something like that. And I will tell you what those herbs correspond to. And you can say, okay, then I think I would like a spell that has to do with protection or whatever it is.
Okay. So I'm picking the herb or the effect?
3 herbs.
3 herbs. Let's go with rosemary, thyme, lavender.
Okay. So
I don't know that I'd necessarily want to eat that soup, but
no, that's a little bit of that's like a herbs de Provence recipe, which is like a French herbal mixture.
Okay.
So I'll
I'll
allow it. Yeah,
of
course.
I knew what I was saying.
Okay. So rosemary is often used for memory, sleep, purification, power, healing, protection, and intellect. Thyme is for psychic energy. Courage, healing, purification. So rosemary and thyme both correspond to purification, warding off negative energy or protection. So it sounds like that might be a combination of herbs that would be good for something like that.
Yeah.
And then let's see what lavender brings in. Lavender brings in sleep, peace, long life, wishes, visions, and clarity. So I feel like something that wards off negativity, provides protection, and gives you peace would probably be the spell that I would make a soup out of. So
let's have some soup.
Yeah, there we go. So I will share this little thing
on our Patreon
that I made on our Patreon. So any soup or stew can be a spell.
Love it.
The end. We start on a very cute pair of orange pants. The color orange is like the literal main character of this episode. It should be called Faith, Hope, and Orange.
Yeah, there was multiple characters wearing orange in almost every scene. And then sometimes a lot of the set was also bathed in orange. And I don't know if there's a symbolism to that. I know the fruit oranges portend death cinematically, as we talked about, in The Godfather, they use that. And then Joyce is coming home and spills a bag of oranges when she's talking to Angel.
Listen, orange is my favorite color. I just was sort of like, what's happening? Like it was James and the Giant Peach in this fucking episode. Okay, so
pan up on orange pants to find
Zordaz, who is trying to carry Willow off campus because she's very excited to be a senior who can go off campus for lunch, but is terrified that the rule will be changed and she'll be arrested.
In trouble, yeah.
Which sounds crazy until you remember that their principal is Snyder and would absolutely arrest a kid for going to Burger King.
Yeah, I'm frankly surprised he doesn't bully the rest of them for just even their association with Buffy.
Honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we feel like that would be a way he could fuck with Buffy, would be to constantly be up their ass as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And you brought up a good point later in the episode that Willow is afraid to even go off campus, which is allowed, but for some reason, the barriers around common sense with regard to magic, she's ready to blast through those.
And I can honestly say, we'll talk about it more when we get to that part of the episode, but that is a brand new observation that I have just had in this watch of this episode for the billionth time I've seen it.
To spoil some stuff that's coming down the road, do you feel like this is the early seeds of an addiction?
Yes.
Like it's wild how early this was woven into the plot of this show.
For sure. Yeah.
Giles is circumspect about the whole thing. He's very cautious. He's very reluctant to have her help with anything magical.
Well,
I'm jumping ahead, but
who's reluctant and cautious? It's Ripper. I think he
knows. Yeah,
he knows what that looks like. He knows how that starts.
This high is going to be amazing, and then it's going to fuck your life up. And then when you're in middle age, some demon is going to come back and make your girlfriend say crazy misogynist things with a scary demon voice.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what he's trying to spare us all from. Yeah. So we see that though Giles hotly threatens Snyder, we still have some logistics to work out, and
still
Buffy,
some hoops to jump through. Yeah.
Yeah. Buffy hasn't yet been cleared to enter campus, so they're having a little picnic at the green area.
It's not even like a park. It's literally just like a open space, literally
median
steps. Yeah, they're a traffic median.
Yeah,
steps away from the entrance to the school.
But it's sweet. They're having a little picnic lunch with Buff, and they're all trying to get her to get out there and date. I'm sure it is out of care for Buffy, but also the very obvious fifth wheel position that she is living in. The two couples, Waz and Zordy, both are like, okay, uncouple. Like they don't want to make her uncomfortable. So it would be a lot easier for everybody if she would date someone. And they've noticed this fellow by the name of Scott Hope, who has been hoping for some time with the Buff.
Yeah, and he's
in the Buff.
And he's the Hope from the title. I remember looking back on this going, okay, I know who Faith is. I don't know who Trick is.
Yeah. I've seen this episode 100 times.
And you didn't remember.
Just picked up on the fact that his last name is Hope.
But when you do a podcast where you have to nitpick the details to death, you're going to pick up on stuff that you miss when you're just folding laundry.
Buffy is not ready, obviously. And to remind everyone, nobody knows why she is having as much trouble processing the killing of Angel as she is.
And it's weird, and it's not a plot hole, it's not a writing issue. It is just something weird to observe that like Willow has not been like, I felt something go through me. I think the spell worked. Like, tell me what you observed. Did it not work? Like she would want to know for her own end, but all the dynamics are so weird. They haven't been able to have this conversation.
Yeah. Now we cut to a new character who, honey, did you know that this character is black?
I did, because every single line of dialogue was about him being black.
I am the token black guy. I'm just supposed to smile, stay out of the conversation, and say things like, damn, shit, and that is whack.
This was really unfortunate. I felt the pressure of it. Now, I was a writer on the staff, and then I was the head writer for the CBS Diversity Showcase, which is a chance for actors representing underrepresented groups to get to perform for casting people. We put on a live sketch show. I've talked about it before. And so I was learned so much about writing doing it the first year. And then someone recommended me to be the head writer. I came back and was head writer along with my friend Deanna. We were the co-head writers. And it's the things that you learn about, the way I put it, is playing in someone else's sandbox. You're going to write in the voice of people who have a different experience than you, that come from a different background than you, that have... Your job as a writer is to find the underlying humanity of every character, even those that don't share your same demographics. But there needs to be a sensitivity or an openness to figuring out how to write in the voice of someone who doesn't maybe sound like you or know the things about the world that you know and knows other things
or have the same experiences.
And
through
so
the world.
this just smacked of a white writer going like, and this is what a cool black guy would say, and it just was so cringe because he talks about the Caucasian persuasion. And he makes a reference to cotton later. I'm reminded of, brief tangent, I think we covered this in a trivia crypt actually, that Urkel was the breakout character on Family Matters. That was supposed to be a vehicle for Reginald VelJohnson from Die Hard, someone who we watch every year at Christmas time. But he was not the breakout character. It was Urkel. And they talked to Jaleel White about it, years later. And he's like, what do you think all of the ingredients were to why Urkel became so popular? He goes, I think Urkel was the best written character on that show because it was a bunch of middle-aged, like, Jewish writers that wrote this nerdy accordion playing idiosyncratic character who was a lot more like them. They didn't know how to write for a working class black family in Chicago, but they knew how to write a corny dorky guy.
Exactly.
And so all their sort of Borscht Belt humor felt very natural in Urkel's mouth. And therefore he got the best lines. He got the best stories. He got, the biggest laughs.
Yeah.
And so this felt like an area where the writers were so caught up in the idea that, oh my God, we have a black character. And he even has a line about like, I know this town doesn't have a lot of black people in it. And it's like,
yeah. Well, and
it just drew so much attention to it.
And the other thing is like, there are people who speak the way that he does and would use the exact same dialogue that he does. The problem is that the show hasn't earned this because they have no fucking people of color on the show. And so the first person that we see that has any amount of lines to put on a reel, these are the lines that they're giving him.
Right.
So anyway, we've said that. Moving on, Mr. Trick, who is this character, does a fucking fantastic job.
I couldn't get enough of him.
Yeah.
He's
with the lines and the character that he's given.
Yeah, no, he's so fun to watch. He really relishes the role of being like the second in command of the baddie, but kind of the brains of the operation.
Yes.
And he's got his dazzling smile and he's
always wearing suits. Like it's a fun
great
character. But they're going to a drive-through and he gets a Diet Coke. And we see that there's a shadowy figure next to him that has, as Eric says, pig talons, which I didn't know they had talons. I could have sworn they were hooves.
Well, this isn't actually a hoof, though. A hoof is like a little, round.
He's literally described as having cloven hooves.
No, but this guy's got like 3 fingers that have claws on them. His hands look more like talons to me.
They don't. Spoiler alert. And we'll drop the clip right here of them not looking like talons. But we learned that this cloven hooved character and Mr. Trick are here to
kill the Slayer. Yeah.
And Pig Talon wants to rip her spine from her body and eat her heart and suck the marrow from her bones. Angel Poet would have lived for this imagery. Brava.
And we have they're not vague about it at all. There's a vagary to be inferred the further we get into the episode. At this point, we just obviously are meant to think they're talking about Buffy.
Right.
It's the only Slayer we're aware of. Kendra having been offed.
Yeah.
This is what we got. Oh, he also, Trick pulls the drive-through guy out and drives away with him halfway sticking out the car. Like,
oh, yeah, because Pig Talons was talking about sucking bone marrow and Mr. Trick got a Jones for some marrow.
It's fun that vampires can have drive-through as well.
Yeah. Now we go to the Bronze, and man, every time we hang out at the Bronze, I just want a bronze. I just want a bronze in my life. Buffy is dancing with someone by the name of Angel. So now we know it's a dream.
Yeah.
The Scoobies are just like watching like straight ahead creepily.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what happens in the dream. Her ring falls off. Angel picks it up. We then get a flashback within the dream of her stabbing Angel and her saying to him, I had to. He starts to bleed from the hand where he's holding the Clado ring. And he says, I loved you. He now has like zombie face. And he says, go to hell. I did. And she then wakes up. She pulls the Clado ring out of her nightstand that's on a little necklace. And then Joyce comes in and says, ready to face the beast? Snyder. Let's go to Snyder's office.
We have to.
I wish we didn't. I swear to God, if he says anything about tingling, I'm leaving. He says, all right, you can come back to school, but here are the rules.
What are the rules? What are the rules? What are the rules? What are the rules?
You have to pass all the tests that you missed. You have to get a recommendation from somebody who is not a librarian. And you have to see a school psychologist. The Summers women say, how about instead?
Go yourself.
Because it's sort of, it's implied that like his hand is forced by the school board.
Yeah.
This is not coming from the goodness of his heart.
Right.
Joyce, very much trying to win me back.
Is it working?
We're in talks.
Okay. Well, that's good.
I liked her. The energy she brought to this
Yeah.
scene.
Petty Joyce.
Yeah.
I love Petty Joyce. So the Summers women leave. And then we hear that the mayor again is on line 1. I'm just like, what the fuck is a mayor doing calling the principal of a high school? We now go to the library. Willow is dressed like that doll, My Buddy. That shit was so sexist as well, because the boy one was My Buddy, but the girls can't have a buddy. They have to have a kid sister.
Mm-hmm.
Bullshit. Anyway, I wanted a buddy. I didn't want a kid sister. I wanted a buddy. Oh, I wrote Giles looks fine.
It's weird. I think there are times when we're really synced up on this.
Mhm.
And then there are other times when I think Giles looks kind of haggard and greasy, like he hasn't showered, and that's when you're always like, "Ooh, slimy Giles." And I'm just
He
like,
doesn't look slimy.
it's like he wasn't doing it for me on this one.
He just looks worked. I don't know what I mean by that.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I do.
Tell me what I mean by that in the comments.
But yeah, he's got a bunch of accoutrement out on the table. It looks like
Yeah.
our kitchen with a mortar and pestle and bowls of herbs.
Yeah, it was a very funny exchange where Giles just is back to business and Buffy is like, God, contain yourself, Giles.
Mhm.
You missed me so much. It was very cute. It's such daddy-daughter vibes
Yeah.
in just the best way. And the more the show gets comfortable with itself, the more I just love their relationship.
Absolutely.
Like I would watch a buddy comedy with Giles and Buffy all day.
Hitting the road.
Yeah. And he's like, listen, I really need you to tell me I really need the details of Akathla, like exactly what happened.
Because his premise is, I'm going to do a binding spell just to make sure he doesn't come back, make sure like we're going to put an extra lock on that door.
Yep.
But I need to know exactly how it went down so that I can do this the right way.
Yeah. And Willow, this is where we were talking before. Willow is so eager to participate in any spell, any magics at all. And frankly, from like the perspective of the viewer, Giles's reluctance is interesting just because it's like you'd think that having Willow as a mentee, there would be something appealing about that to him, but he's extremely reluctant.
Yeah, if you're putting together a team, you think of it like a D&D party. You've got your warrior, right? You got your fighter.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your the different things. You got your we got a werewolf.
A werewolf.
I'm sure we can put him to use at some point.
We have a jester.
Yes.
We have a fair maiden
Who can be used as
bait.
/distraction.
We have a wise old sage.
And so why not we have a little spellcaster in there?
He has every reason to be suspect because we are seeing that she is so measured, so meticulous, so rule abiding.
She's a little out of character.
And she's out of character when she talks about the magic. So I feel like that would be the thing where he would be like,
That's a red flag.
Yeah. Buffy leaves without providing the detail that we know she's leaving out of the conversation.
Yeah,
which
she's
is that
very
he was
surface
in-
level. She's like, we fought, pointy end.
Yeah.
There we go.
So now we go back to the bronze. Waz is making out.
Buffy's hair has got all these weird little flyaways. I think I'm overly distracted by hair today, but her hair looked crazy.
Listen, sometimes people have flyaways that they can't control for their entire lives. Scott comes over, Scott Hope, And it's very sweet. Like, clearly he asked, hey, when is Buffy going to be at the Bronze? Waz told him, and then he just appears. He asked her to dance. She's super weird about it.
She seems interested, but she knows that her heart's not ready yet. Like, he's a perfectly nice guy. He's not giving weird swim team date rape vibes.
Right.
He seems like a really sweet kid who's like saying the right things, and he's self-deprecating, but not in a way that's masking ulterior motives, as we've often seen. He just seems like a genuinely like good dude. And so she doesn't outright shoot him down. She's like, you know what? I don't know. And he goes, I'll go over here. If you want to dance, come find me. If you don't, I won't be mad.
Yeah. So now he walks away, and then Cordy points out a truly insane dancing couple. They were both insane for multiple reasons. He was insane because he's dressed like he bought a 70s disco dancer costume from Spirit Halloween, and he's dancing like a full crazy person. And the partner that he's dancing with is equally as ludicrous because she seems super into it.
He's doing a lot of hip thrusting.
A lot of
in
hip
what
thrusting.
looked like work slacks.
It's
a whole thing.
Yeah.
And then this definitely seemed like neither one of them, like there's clearly no music playing on set, and they had different songs in their head.
Fully different songs. Yeah. Buff sort of clocks the guy as not fitting in, which is something that we saw her do in the pilot.
There's one.
Where?
Right there. Only someone living underground for 10 years would think that was still the look. Deal with that outfit for a moment.
It's tricky because in the 90s, 70s retro was in.
Right.
So it's like, how do you necessarily know? But she's got a spidey sense, and she's seen, when people dance and it's a guy and a girl and they go out to the alley, more times than not, that's vamp business afoot. So she follows them.
Poor Scott thinks that she's like making a beeline towards him. So
it's like
she's
that thing
awkward
where
about it.
You see someone wave at you and you wave back enthusiastically.
Oh my God, it's exactly
and then you
that.
realize they're waving at someone behind you and you're just like, murder me.
It's
I
exactly
just
that.
want to die.
Yeah. They go out into the alleyway. Everybody does. Everybody goes. And boy, oh boy, talk about somebody who's looking fine. His name is Xander Harris.
Oh my God. He's doing the same look he did in the last episode with the tank top and the long sleeve button up open.
Yeah.
Just looks fucking amazing.
Looks really great. Cordy, on the other hand, I'm just like, what is happening? Like, I feel like
his mom.
And I feel like the costume designer is like mad at her this week. Like, they're giving her like really formless. The last two dresses we've seen her in have just been like very like formless, frump. Yeah. So I can't remember if it gets better, but right now I'm very upset.
It does get better. She has a really cute outfit later.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you're right. She does. This girl that is fighting a vampire appears to know how to fight vampires.
And I think Oz is the one who clocks this. Like, I'd say it looks like we have a new Slayer in town.
Yeah. And this new Slayer introduces herself mid-fight and says, I know who you are, Buffy, and asks to borrow a stake, and she slays him. And we have a new friend. Here we are. Cut to story time with Faith.
This is tough.
These were the scenes I was talking about. They're like, I can't fucking fault a 17-year-old girl who's a beginner actor.
Yeah, because this is written clunky where it's like, I'm going to fill you in about my life, but I'm not going to talk about it in a way where it's actually lived experience. It's like I'm giving you like a highlight reel that isn't the way anyone would actually talk about stuff that happened.
And these are hard. These are really hard to do. Like, they're very, very hard to do.
But she's a free spirit. She's sleeps naked, runs around naked.
Yeah, fights alligators,
wrestles with snakes
naked.
and stuff. And Xander is just right in front of his girlfriend. He's like, oh, can we talk about you being naked more?
Yeah, and you brought up a really good point. Because at first I was like, oh, Eric and I talk about
how attractive people are.
How
we talk to each other.
Right. And I did realize, like, I would never like hit on somebody in earnest or in front of your face.
Yeah, and what he's doing is his attention is turned away from Cordelia. He's focused squarely on Faith. If he was going to Cordy, that sounds fucking crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like if he was bringing her into it.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Or even if he was creepy Xander was like, how come you never sleep naked and run
there
around?
You go.
Like bring her into it.
Yeah.
This threesome is never going to happen the way you're playing this.
Right. That's so true.
You have to make your partner the star of the show and make sure that the guest star knows who's at the top of the call sheet.
Yes.
It's not from experience. We've never had a threesome. I'm just saying I've given it some thought.
Yeah. With Xander Harris.
Player be named later.
We learned that Faith came to Sunnydale to meet Buffy, but it's kind of nebulous. Like we're not, she's not being super forthcoming with why
she
she's
wasn't
here.
sent there the way Kendra has been.
Right.
She is there because her watcher's at a retreat.
Mm-hmm.
And Buffy's like, how come my fucking watcher never goes on a retreat?
Right?
Leaves me alone for 5 minutes.
And
so she's like, I want to meet the famous Slayer.
Yeah, and Faith does sort of try to bring Buffy into the conversation by asking her toughest kill, and Buffy is obviously not going to say who her toughest kill is because it's Angel, we know, but she's not going to share it.
And she also does a thing where she's like, she tries to connect. She's like, isn't it crazy how slaying makes you so hungry and horny?
And everyone's like, what?
Buffy, is that true? And she was like, I like Froyo.
Yeah. Oz also has to make sure that he knows Faith's stance on werewolves.
Hey, as long as you don't go scratching at me or humping my leg, we're 5 by 5, you know?
Back to the library. And we learn that the Watchers Retreat is not only in the Cotswolds, which is,
we love.
Dream, but Giles isn't invited? And I'm like, okay, literally, why is Giles not invited? Literally. Why would he not be invited?
I must have missed that. I must have been talking about something completely
He says it's an honor to be invited. And he was not invited.
I thought maybe he just chose not to go.
No.
That's
and then all he does is
really
talk about
up.
how much he wants to go horse riding and he used to love to kayak. Like he's very upset that he's not invited.
Mm-hmm.
Why would he not be invited? He is the watcher to the current fucking Slayer.
Yeah, he's maybe because he's on active duty. But then why would Faith be sent? At this point in the story, we assume that whole thing is true.
Faith says what we've all been saying, that Buffy has a very young and cute watcher, which is accurate. And everyone's grossed out except for me. And we sort of are talking about just like, why is a new Slayer here? What's brewing? Something weird.
Cordy was the one who put it together. Like, you're here because Kendra died.
Yes. And
I love that everyone's kind of in on the thing now.
Yes.
And it's like, it doesn't always fall on Buffy, Willow, or Giles to answer all the questions. They all have a working vocabulary around all of this stuff. And so they're all able to contribute. I think I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. Faith leaves the library and then Giles continues to like press Buffy for details about the fight with Akathla, and Buffy continues to avoid it.
Yeah.
So now we cut to Zillath, which is
Xander, Willow, and Faith.
There you go. And they're sort of going over all of the different things that happened. You know, this is where vampires ruined parent-teacher night. This is where snakes took over. This is, whatever it is. And this is also where we learn that Elijah Dushku is very Canadian because she cannot stop saying about.
But I might have been sad about it.
Xander continues to be grosso to the point where Cordy offers to dress as a Slayer and put a stake to his throat, which I'm like, hot, into it. But I hate that Cordy is like trying to measure up. I'm like, Xander, you have a Cohen. Like, you need to measure up to Queen Cordy. I'm sick of it.
I think her outfit in this scene is really hot, though.
Yeah,
she looks really
super
gorgeous.
Cute. Scott has noticed Faith, and everyone has noticed Scott noticing Faith, and Faith noticing Scott. And Buffy all of a sudden is sort of like, well, wait a minute. I hadn't said no. I just hadn't gotten there yet. And this is also the first time where Faith kind of like makes a comment about or has a critique of the way Buffy approaches her life or slang, where she's like, you need to find the fun, B. And you can tell that Buffy does not like being called B.
Right.
So now we go see what Mr. Trick is doing. And his lair is an auto shop, I guess.
And he's walking around with a little baby laptop. Like, and he's talking about the connectivity and the Wi-Fi and the gigahertz and the whole thing. He's a tech guy, so it's interesting to see the bad guys have their own like tech person.
Yeah, and this is where I think we get a good look at who this old pig Talon is, and we see that he really looks like some sort of goatman.
Yeah,
a real cloven-hooved, pig-taloned goatman. And we get a very gross line about one of the things that vampires do is they order Filipino girls, which is very upsetting, especially in our current climate. It was yucko. Now we see that they're talking about two different slayers, and Goatman references a giant scar on his face.
He's got a Harry Potter lightning bolt scar.
Yeah, but
over
right
his
through his eye.
Yeah.
And we learn that he's there to make a slayer pay for
what she did to him.
Yeah.
And so they're searching on his little baby laptop. Trick is searching all the hostels and all the
motels and
of every gas station, residence, hen house, outhouse, or doghouse in that area.
Let's go see what's happening at the Summers house. Buffy has brought her first new girlfriend over, and Joyce is really doing her very best to be supportive.
Again, this is
and on board.
Super queer coded.
Yes.
She's like, okay, my daughter just came out. Now she's bringing lesbians over, and I'm going to roll out the red carpet.
And I'm going to be sort of like overly hospitable.
Yes.
And it was very sweet.
Joyce is wooing me back to her side.
Right.
Slowly. I'm not there.
Sure.
I'm not there, but I'm interested in hearing more.
There you go. Yeah, and it's very sweet because like Joyce, understandably, you know, the difference between your daughter being a slayer and your daughter being gay. I mean, there was a lot of like panic around it in, you know, the 80s, 90s before, you know, when people didn't really understand how AIDS worked and all of that kind of stuff. So there was a fear.
Also just how dangerous the world is for queer people.
Yes.
The bigotry and the violence and this kind of thing.
Yes. So like Joyce is not out of line in that like she is simultaneously trying to be supportive, but also can't not be terrified of the fact that her daughter's a fucking slayer and that like the life expectancy of a slayer is very short.
Well, Joyce appears to not know a ton about it, but what she does know seems to freak her out because Jeffy goes into the Boyce. I forget what we're going with.
Boyce
goes into the kitchen to have a little time away, and they kind of keep peeking in. And Faith is just plowing through everyone else's plates and eating right out of the bowl. She's clearly been on the move a little bit.
Yeah,
and Joyce is surprised to learn about how Slayers are activated and the fact that Kendra and now Faith are activated by a Slayer having died. And so Joyce is like, wait, so you died? And Buffy's never told her that.
Right.
And she's rightfully like terrified by that.
Yeah. Buffy is terrified by feeling like she's being single white femaled, whereas Joyce is like, I feel like this is an opportunity. And here's the thing. I fucking agree with Joyce. Like 2 Slayers is definitely better than 1. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't be like, wow, this once in a billion-year thing.
But she's like, couldn't she take over for you? Because I think she's sort of going, not necessarily that 2 Slayers are better than 1, but that the plan was there to be a Slayer.
Yeah.
Tap Faith in, and you can
go
just
to college,
be a person. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm saying if Buffy doesn't want to quit, why wouldn't we trade off or team up? You know, like I feel like that would be the strategic thing to do. But nobody knows how this works because it's clearly never happened before.
Unprecedented.
So now we cut to after dinner. They're slaying together, and boy, oh boy, Faith is abrasive. Like I am Team Buffy in this, where I'm just like, bitch, can you shut up?
Right.
Like, can you absolutely shut the fuck up?
About giving life advice, and you needed this, and you needed that, and what's up with you and Angel, and da-da-da-da. And
as the girls are bickering, vamps come out. And they're both fighting. They're doing a great job. There is a really interesting role reversal because we remember a time when Giles had to tell Buffy, stop fucking around and stake this dude.
And I think he even gives her a line like, your job is to slay them, not beat them to a bloody pulp.
Yep. And we then see that Buffy has not only learned that lesson, but internalized it because she calls Faith out for doing the same thing. Like
Buffy's being overwhelmed by a couple vamps, is calling out for help. She's basically like, stake that dude, get over here and help me. And Faith just can't stop punching this guy.
So Buffy ends up having to take out 2 vamps on her own. Before she stakes them, they mention about dying for Kakistos or living for Kakistos or something. So Buffy clocks that. And then Faith ends up being like such a total bitch by being like, I thought you could handle yourself. Yeah, bitch, I can handle myself, but it would be great if you like, if I didn't, you're here. Can you help? Like, it's not that I guess Faith pisses me off a lot more than I guess I don't have a lot of room for Faith. People are just like like in the Buffyverse, people are like so team Faith that I'm almost like, well, let's all calm down.
Right.
A little bit.
Well, I think, she's going to cover a lot of ground, but on this first episode, Faith is an irritant.
Yes.
Faith is a fly in the ointment. And I thought this was interesting, and I'm sure I'm not the first person to have this thought, but it's like, compared to Kendra, Buffy was the more unconventional one. Kendra was very by the book. Between these two, Buffy is very by the book, and Faith is the unconventional one.
Yeah.
More unorthodox, a little more of a wild card. And I think that's going to fuck with Buffy's head going forward.
100%. Now we go back to the library and Giles is, conversing about Faith. Giles is going to have a talk with Faith's watcher to just kind of figure out like what the fuck is going on.
Right.
Giles is the one who recognizes the name Kakistos, even though Buffy calls him
Kissing toast. He lived for kissing toast.
You mean Kakistos?
I think it was taquitos.
Buffy is like, I don't think Kakistos and Faith are a coincidence. I feel like they're related. Mm-hmm. Buffy is definitely saying it in the way that she's like, doesn't feel like Faith is on the up and up. Right. I feel like she's wondering, maybe not if they're in cahoots, but but
definitely, yeah, it's not a coincidence, and Faith isn't being upfront about her connection to this guy.
Yeah, exactly. At this point, Scott Hope corners Buffy and invites her to every high school girl's dream of a date, which is a Buster Keaton festival. That is the type of thing that you feign enthusiasm for if you think the boy is cute.
Right.
But I don't know that a ton of teenagers in 1997 are excited to go to a Buster Keaton festival.
Nerdy guys would be.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing where it's really a test to see if the girl likes you or not. You invite her to some ridiculous thing that maybe you're not even into, honestly. Although I get the sense this guy is into it.
Yeah, he seems. And I think, you know what? The way that Scott would probably talk about Buster Keaton might get Buffy on board a little bit, honestly. Yeah. I think he seems like a genuinely nice dude, a genuinely normal, kind, sweet dude, which means Buffy isn't going to be interested. Yeah.
Clamp shut.
I'm trying to think if you ever took me on a date where I was like, sure. In the beginning of our relationship, because now I go on dates with you that I flat out say like, I'm only going on this date with you because I love you.
Right.
I don't wish to do it.
But we have that we have a conversation about that before we do it.
Yeah. Like I've been to too many Metallica concerts in my life.
I've only been to one Metallica concert.
That's too many. I'm trying to think of when we first started dating.
It was mostly out for food, or like I took you to see the Baltimore Orioles. Your hometown team was in town.
Yeah, if anything, you really went above and beyond to make sure that the date was about me.
Well, that's how I roll.
Yeah, she agrees to go. And Scott should have just hachad right there. Just she said yes, move on. But instead he says, I'd like to give you a gift of friendship. It's this Irish love ring called a claddagh, which freaks her the fuck out.
You don't buy jewelry for a girl you've not even been on a date with.
Agreed.
And every guy in this show does this.
It feels like Scott was like, hey, what should I do for Buffy? And he's like, I think you should buy her a piece of jewelry before you've even gone out on a date.
Who, Xander says this?
Xander. Yeah. And then poor Scott just grabs the ring and is like, okay, I get the message. And runs away. That really broke my heart. Right. I get the message. That hurt. Giles then finds her all teared up and, are you okay? I don't have time to really ask because Faith's fucking watcher is dead. There was no watcher to talk to at the Cotswolds retreat.
No, did she die at the Cotswolds retreat, like in a zipline accident, or
probably? I think that's canon, actually.
Right. No, I think we're led to believe that this watcher never attended.
Yeah.
On the RSVP, she wrote, "Cannot attend. Reason dead."
Now we go.
Cool
see.
That Faith had a lady watcher.
I love that. Yeah. There's not many of them, as we will learn as the series goes on. Faith is staying at some $18 a day motel, which was a bummer, especially when you think about the fact these characters were all like my age or a little bit older when I was watching it. So like in my head, they're all like almost adults, which technically they are. But like now with the kids I work with, I'm like,
these are one of them living in a motel.
These are children, absolute children.
And we got this guy that runs the joint who
did a great job.
No, he's a good actor, but he's in like a white tank top, a wife respecter. We call it on KK Sam, but it's like crisp and white. Like it's not stained. Like I almost thought it should be like sweat stained and have like food spilled on it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why would you hang out in like just a crisp white undershirt?
He just bought that one at the dollar store down the street because he spilled chili on the one he was wearing
the previous
before.
one. Okay.
Yeah. So
he said, I got a pretty girl moving in. I better put on my nice tank top.
Yeah, exactly.
And going out tank top.
And he talks about broads.
Yeah.
He's great. He did a great job. Buffy's come to visit, and this is where Buffy is like, so like, I heard the name Kakistos. Giles told me who Kakistos was. Are you connected to Kakistos? And Faith's whole fucking badass bitch vibe drops right off her face. Mm-hmm. She is not chill. She starts immediately packing a bag. Buffy has something to say about somebody packing a bag and running away. And I was like, whoop, maybe just let this one go.
Well, she's learned from this. She got called out by Willow and Joyce for packing a bag. And so maybe she's like, this is not an acceptable play.
Agreed.
So she's paying it forward.
A little less judgment would be good though.
More like I know what you're going through. I've also packed a bag.
Yeah, a little less. You fucking pussy ass bitch. Yeah, none of that. This is where Faith is like, back up. You don't know me. You don't know what I've been through. And Buffy is like, I get it. Kakistos killed your watcher. That's why your watcher is dead and why you're fucking watcherless and why you're freaked out about Kakistos. And Faith is like, they don't have a word for what he did to her. Door knock, whatever.
She looks through the little fisheye
and it's
peephole.
I'm walking here guy, except he looks unwell.
Yeah, he's definitely like,
do it. Exactly. Yeah. And that's exactly what it looked like. So Faith opens the door and we see that he's being Weekend at Bernie's and
by conquistadors and all his friends.
By Pig Talon, by old Pig Talon. And Faith is not chill. Like Faith has we found her kryptonite. There's no chill with her anywhere.
Yeah. And they just do funny thing where Buffy just like closes the door on them. His little hands coming through.
Yeah.
She tries to lock the little chain latch.
And then he just
like,
punches through the door.
She's like, I bought us some time. About a second.
Yeah. So then they go out the bathroom window and they're, running away.
Well, but it's funny because as they're being pursued, Trick gets all special ops. He starts like giving like hand signals to all the guys when you could literally just go, you guys go this way. You guys go this way. We're going to head this. Like he's just like,
yeah, not only was there no need for stealth, but it actually made his directives less useful in this particular instance.
I'm doing what? What are we? Give me the steel third. Like, what are we doing?
It's kind of like when I am ever trying to say something to Eric using signals like my eyes, or even like trying to get him to understand something that I can't say out loud, and I'm met with what? Why are you doing that weird thing with your eyeballs? Can you see that Ketryn's doing a weird thing with her eyeballs? What could she possibly be trying to tell me?
Guilty as charged. I throw myself on the mercy of the Buffy court.
With the amount of details that he picks up on and tells me about, to my utter annoyance, the fact that he can't pick up on this very obvious clue.
We didn't have marital grievance on the rundown. You're kind of just spitballing here, I guess.
Marital grievance. Buffy's like, what's the deal? Faith is freaking out. We also see that she's got a lot of guilt about her watcher having died, and Buffy is definitely stepping into the mentor role again. And she's like, the first rule of slaying is don't die. Like, you didn't die. So like, you can't completely lose yourself in this. They then realize that they've been driven to this spot because we're in Mr. Trick's auto body shop. And Faith is completely neutered. Like the vamps all come in. Buffy is fighting them. Great fight.
The fights are
all the
incredible
fights
this
are
season.
fantastic. I believe you told me this, but I can't remember. I feel like it's something I know, that when Eliza Dushku came on to the set, she really wanted to do a lot more of her own stunts, and it kind of spurred SMG to be like, well, I can do my own stunts too. Actually, very Buffy and Faith.
Right. Yeah.
That whole
It
dynamic.
created a competition where neither one of them wanted to be the one who was like, I don't want to do this myself.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
but I don't know if that happened quite yet in the first episode, but I believe that is the dynamic that played out between them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just noticed that we saw Eliza's face a lot in these fights. More
We
than
also
we
saw
tend to
Buffy
see.
stunt double's face.
Yes. Buffy is fighting Kakistos. She keeps trying to stake him, and it's like not fucking working. And he's like, I think you need a bigger stake. And so Faith, has a moment of clarity, of strength, whatever. And one of the support beams that Kakistos had sort of thrown her into, she picks up the whole big giant thing and she stakes him with a beam. It's pretty cool. And then she says, you hungry? Starved. And they go eat, I guess.
They don't mention the other H that
Right.
happens after you slay.
Yeah.
These two wind up in a closet like Cordy and Xander, just
Aw.
clawing each other,
I hope so. I hope they had some fun, frisky
They're just-
Slayer times.
scissoring like crazy.
They deserve it. Next day, Giles says, talk to the council. Makes the most sense for Faith to stay here until a new watcher is assigned. So this is where she's going to be. And Buffy has a moment of realizing that she can't run away or hide from the things that are difficult for her to deal with, especially since she spent some time sort of involuntarily mentoring Faith through a similar situation, like a really traumatic fight or kill that happened to her.
You have to be open about it. The only way to heal is to talk about it, and you can't keep things from the people that you rely on.
Yes.
So
Buffy says Angel was cured.
the spell worked.
Beautiful moment from SMG. I felt like, once again, this was me watching it from the older version of myself. I sort of took for granted when I first watched it of just like, wow, what a difficult situation Buffy is in. Now watching it from these seats, the amount of weight and awfulness that such a young child is having to process, it really hit me differently.
Yeah.
It really hit me differently.
And what I thought was interesting is she's not going to pieces over it, but she's also not trying to be too tough and not feel it.
Uh-huh.
There is a resolve to her.
Mm-hmm.
And she even says afterwards, like, I haven't talked about that. It felt good to get it out.
Mm-hmm.
But like she's talking about the most horrible thing that's ever happened to her, that she's ever been expected to do.
Yeah.
And Giles and Willow just listen in stunned silence.
Later on in the series, one of Buffy's Achilles heels is sort of these walls that her friends are constantly telling her, like, we are here to help you. Like, you don't have to do this alone. And Buffy's refrain is always, I'm always alone. It's only me. And we realize that the groundwork has been laid this early on, because she starts the series going, why can't I have friends? Why can't I have a community? And it's like she's learning in real time why the sort of tradition of Slayers being alone wasn't even necessarily a rule. It was just how it played out. Because
it was practical. It was an inelegant solution to this, because if she's got entanglements, then those people can be used against her, which we've seen happen.
Yep.
Those people being put in danger can split her focus.
Yep. Which we've seen happen.
But I think the trade-off is that she also gets saved by them, has another set of brains working on solving the problems.
Yeah.
Has backup and support and emotional support that
Exactly.
the Slayers probably don't often get to rely on.
But I guess what is interesting to me, the thing that I never sort of put together, was that the arc of the series, she does start in a different place. She starts with friends, community, help. I want to tell people. And slowly that is chipped away, you know? And I hadn't ever sort of seen it in that arc.
That's actually really astute. That's a great observation.
She leaves the library. Willow is out of lack of control, not being able to fix how much pain Buffy is in, doubles down on Giles. I really feel like I can help. Like, I really feel like I can help with this binding spell. And Giles says, there is no spell.
Which I honestly missed, and you had to explain it to me. This was his premise to get her to open up about what happened. If he had just asked her, she would have shut him down.
If he had said, you need to talk about this, it's healthy for you to talk about it, she would have just been like, block, block, block,
right.
block,
But
block.
instead, he's like, I need the details so I can do a thing to help make sure this guy doesn't come back.
And also,
now
this
it's
is
a
part
job.
of your responsibility. Yeah,
Right, yeah.
exactly. So Buffy leaves the library and she finds Scott. Scott is obviously extremely gun shy. And she's like, I think I want to take you up on this Buster Keaton festival. He's extremely standoffish and is kind of like, I need to think about it. But then whips around immediately and says, I've thought about it. I'm in. Let's go.
Very sweet. Very nice kid.
Then Buffy says, I need to take care of something first. She goes to Angel's old vamp mansion.
Yep.
And she leaves the ring on the ground exactly where he was stabbed, where he left her. She leaves. We see the little ring on the ground.
Fade
Blackout.
to black. I was like, wow, what a powerful image to end the episode on. I was really moved. And I was just like, fuck. And now she gets to, oh, wait, we're not done.
The ring starts to vibrate on the ground. And a very sexual naked man falls from the ceiling.
Now, when he's slimy, I don't mind it as much.
Correct.
Slimy Giles not doing it for me. Slimy,
David.
What I call him?
David
Bummy Anus.
Bummy.
Because we see some cheeks. We get just a little crescent moon of cheek on this naked dude.
We do. And he, I mean, it looks like he's been through hell. The end. Let's see what happens.
Yep.
How is Scott Hope going to compete with Greasy Angel?
I don't think he's got a chance.
Who can say?
If we never see Scott Hope again, I would not be surprised. Sunnydale High Yearbook Committee meeting now in session. Who'd you have for best dressed?
Best dressed, I had Buffy's little paisley dress at the very end of the episode. I loved it, and I kind of want one.
I had that as a tie.
Okay.
I called it her red-lined sundress.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also had her in the beginning, probably mostly because of the hair and the butterfly, but her picnic outfit.
Eric is really loving a chunky zigzag part hair clipped
90s updo.
90s updo.
I'm loving all the barrettes.
Yeah.
Her barrette game is strong.
He's very into it.
I think she looked amazing most of this episode. Flyaways notwithstanding.
Yeah.
Who'd you have for worst dressed?
Also Buffy. She did this terrible brown cargo pant, black shirt with one weird design on it. Listen.
I'm gonna say I don't even think that was a cargo pant. That was like a palazzo pant.
It was like a cargo pant because we saw a different angle of it. It was a cargo palazzo pant.
Yeah.
It was not good. Actually, it wasn't short enough to be palazzo. It was terrible all around. Listen, I understand that there are ways to mix black and brown. There's not everything is a hard and fast rule. But when people say you can't mix black and brown together,
they're talking about this.
They're talking about this outfit right here. And then she puts a brown jacket on over. Oh,
yeah. And then the shirt itself had some weird like design that's like off center. We thought it looked like Santa's reindeer. Like we couldn't make out what it was.
It wasn't good.
I had Cordy Starfleet flapper dress.
Yeah.
Where she's got like the weird black shoulders,
drop
red
waist
shirt with like this like slouchy.
Yeah, no good.
Didn't look great. What'd you have for best line?
Best line, I had Sweet Willow, who's new to witchcraft and new to making out, says,
That's not what making out sounds like. Unless I'm doing it wrong.
It was so cute. I loved it.
That was very cute. I thought Willow was very cute this entire episode.
She was adorable.
I had Joyce telling off Snyder.
I think what my daughter's trying to say is, nah, 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 nah.
Yeah, that was pretty cute.
Who'd you have for worst line?
Worst line was poor Mr. Trick. His whole talking about Caucasian persuasion situations.
Yeah, I had all of that.
Yeah.
And what'd you have for best move?
Best move, I had Giles getting Buffy to say what happened.
That was a good move. I had Giles as well, holding a coffee mug in his hand, turning it slightly to check his watch without spilling his coffee.
That was great.
That was some Jedi shit.
Yeah.
If I tried to do any of that, like I said in the watch along, I would have not only covered myself in coffee, I would have forgotten to look at the watch. I would still not know what time it was.
And his watch would have somehow fallen off his wrist and cracked the screen.
And knocked a wall over.
And then he would have stepped on it. And then he would have run into a wall and knocked it over.
Yeah, it was very impressive. High degree of difficulty. Who did you have lastly? Who did you have for most likely?
Most likely to write Fuffy fanfic, Xander Harris.
Get in line. I think there's literal terabytes of this already existing on the web.
Yeah.
I have 2 most likelies, which I think is the first time that's ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
I had most likely to be able to retire early by pawning all the jewelry boys gave her prematurely, Buffy, and most likely to star in a buddy cop drama with actor Treat Williams called Trick or Treat, Mr. Trick.
Hey, I love it. That's great.
All right, that's all we had. Oh, let's knock some shit over.
Oh my God.
That's all we have for you this week.
Were you trying to check your watch while drinking coffee?
Thanks for hanging out with us, you guys. While you're here, if you're still here, click subscribe. That way you find out when we put new stuff out. Leave a comment below. Let us know your picks for best line, worst line, best dress, worst dress, best move, and most likely. Tell us where you're at with your Joyce journey. Is she winning you back like she is me? Are you still a harsh critic? You know, we want to see you guys sound off there. If you're
or do you think being a single mom is tough?
The two aren't mutually exclusive.
We can't do this right now. We got to go. Goodbye.
If you're listening on a podcast app, please leave us a 5-star rating and a review where applicable. If you can't get enough of us, and frankly, like I've had enough of us, so I would understand if you could. But if you can't, we have a Patreon, $5 a month. We do a watch along where we watch and talk over the entire episode before we record these. We also do a mini-sode called Trivia Crypt, where we do a baby deep dive into every episode of Buffy, starting with season 2. Fun facts, behind the scenes, things that we didn't know that we discuss here. We looked those up. And for example, Ketryn pondered if Spike was a vampire during the American Revolution. So in the Trivia Crypt for last week's episode, I'm going to learn whether that was the case or not. So it's all that kind of shit. And we share your comments there as well. While you're checking stuff out, please check out our other show, Kim and Ket Stay Alive, maybe co-starring her and the hilarious Kim Burns, although lately co-starring me sometimes too, because I'm filling in here and there as Kim is on maternity leave. I realize that's confusing. It sounds like Kim's on maternity leave but still showing up. No, we banked a few episodes of Kim to get us through the holidays, but then I'm also recording some. So whatever the case, I produced that show. She co-created it and co-stars in it, and it's great. It comes out every Wednesday wherever you listen to podcasts. On social media at KKSam Podcast. This show's on social media at Major Slayage Pod. That's literally all we have. We got to go eat dinner. We will see you next Monday. And until then,
dust you later.